Costumes, parties, trick-or-treating. Halloween is here.
We've got all the latest on the treats and scares for this fun-filled Halloween in Oxford. Good evening, and thank you for tuning in to NewsWatch Ole Miss. I'm Reuben Johnson.
And I'm Abby Cummings. If you're not sure where to begin your Halloween night, the square is always a good place to start.
Whether it's a haunted house you're looking for, or maybe even a little trick or treating with the kids, the square is always a good start.
NewsWatch's Chandler Morgan is out in front of City Hall to give you a look on all of tonight's Halloween attractions. Chandler.
That's right, guys. I'm here on Oxford Square where there are a ton of Halloween events going on. Right behind me, you can see there is a bowling event and also some trick-or-treating going on throughout the square. But these events will be wrapping up around 9:30 p.m. this evening. Earlier, I spoke with Oxford Police Department regarding some safety issues for the evening. They said that one of the most important things you need to remember is that children could be possibly running into the roadways unexpectedly, and you can also wear reflective clothing to prevent these types of situations, and that some extra officers will be out patrolling this evening to make sure that you don't have any safety scares for your Halloween plans here in Oxford. But speaking of scary, we definitely have a scary building here on Oxford Square. Maddie Freeman has more about this haunted City Hall.
If you enter the elevator in Oxford City Hall, you'll find there are only a couple of options for where it'll take you, the first or the second floor. The stairs, however, will tell a different story, the story of a haunting.
Damn right it's haunted. What do you mean, do I believe it's haunted? Of course it's haunted.
Conference rooms and offices, including that of Mayor Patterson, make the first and second floor of City Hall a bustling place of business. The top floor is quite the opposite. It's like taking a trip through a time machine with rooms aged by decades. Mayor Patterson has heard several unusual, even paranormal noises while working late at night. He's convinced the fourth floor is hiding something.
I work up here late at night, 2, 3, 4 in the morning. I hear noises. I hear ladies crying and the condemned begging and pleading. I hear the old fire whistle.
Mayor Patterson isn't the only person to notice strange sounds when the sun goes down. Senior planner Katrina Horn also testifies.
I hear funny sounds, strange noises if I'm here late at night. And sometimes it's a little unnerving. Mostly closing doors. Sometimes you hear voices.
City Hall was built in 1885 as a federal building. According to Mayor Patterson, the building served many purposes.
It was a federal court and a post office, and had the U.S. Marshals and the clerk of the court. All the bootleggers were tried here, and the 2 people that killed the marshals, they were tried here and hung.
Mayor Patterson also has a guess for who the ghostly culprit could be.
But definitely Mayor McElroy. Short, fat, ugly, wore glasses, mean, grumpy, yelled at all the secretaries.
Although many uncertainties still remain, one thing seems clear. Something unexplained by nature or science inhabits the top floor of City Hall. So next time you're walking the square, don't forget to look up. You may just see a ghost. Maddie Friedman, NewsWatch.
Situation if you ask me, but you guys, I am prepared for Halloween. I'm gonna go join in on these festivities. Reporting live on Oxford Square, Chandler Morgan, NewsWatch Ole Miss.
While many people love to indulge into candy during the Halloween season, others celebrate differently. NewsWatch reporter Daniela Oropeza has more on this story.
Thanks, Reuben. That's right. I spoke with 2 students who celebrate Halloween in their own way. Let's take a look.
Currently, this is my casual Louise Belcher look while I'm cleaning up the house and doing homework before the festivities of the night start.
Although Halloween is on a Monday this year, that did not stop senior managerial finance major Phoebe Sturgis from celebrating the spooky holiday.
Well, last night we had a Halloween party because we didn't want to have it on Monday night because everyone, including myself, has 8 a.m.s on Tuesday.
Sturgis, along with several friends, dressed up to enjoy Halloween music, fun foods, and decorations.
Last night was a lot of fun. We had a lot of friends over. The decorations were everywhere. We had lasers, and we had a blacklight party. We saw a lot of vampires this year, a lot of political figures.
While Sturgis has her own way of celebrating Halloween, senior English major Caleb Castillo has his own way of celebrating.
Dia de los Muertos is like a really unique holiday, and it's like a big part of Mexican identity. It's like a way the culture deals with death. It's by like celebrating it and remembering those who have passed away.
Castillo's family is from Morelos, Mexico, and although they don't celebrate Dia de los Muertos regularly, Castillo is familiar with the Mexican holiday.
I mean, what we did was like there's a lot of food that you give to the dead. It's typically like your ancestors, your family's favorite meals. So it's like tamales, mole, different things. I'd probably get tamales when I die.
Though Halloween is celebrated differently, several can agree that it's a fun time to dress up and, of course, indulge into candy.
I think it's really cool. I love free candy.
I like Halloween, everything about it. I like dressing up, I like scaring people, I like the thrill of eating all the candy that's around.
Danielle.
Although Halloween is on a Monday, there are several students who will be hitting the square or hosting Halloween parties of their own. Stay tuned with us on Twitter for more holiday updates at NewsWatch_UM. Back to you guys at the desk.
If you're still in search for some last-minute Halloween costumes, NewsWatch Laura Layden has more info for you.
All right, guys, I'm here with Miss Norma Pruitt, the co-owner of Joe's Costume Shop. How are you today?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
Good, and happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
So I want to ask you a couple questions. First one being, like, what are your most popular items for this year?
This year we have had so many Winnie the Poohs and Tiggers go out.
And what is that like compared to last year?
It's great. I mean, we've had, every year they go out, they just seem to never lose interest in them.
Why do you think Winnie the Pooh and Tigger are the most popular items this year?
It's simple to be in and just something everybody relates to.
And it's been crazy. Would you say this is the busiest?
Oh yes,
day?
it's been so busy. We've had so many great customers come in, and we're really enjoying it.
And you guys are originally supposed to close at 3, but what time are you guys going to close today?
We're going to be lucky to get out of here by 6 tonight, and we stay until the last customer's gone. We're not going to throw anybody out the door.
And do you guys have any big Halloween plans tonight?
I plan on going to watch my granddaughter go trick-or-treating.
And the last question is, this creepy clown thing has been happening all over. Has anybody checked out one of your clown costumes?
We have had 5 clowns go out, but we monitored where they were at, and they were in the, the forest, the Avents Park and stuff, and the police station. And so therefore we knew exactly where they were.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Miss Pruitt, and happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. Thank you for coming to us.
Lafayette County deputies responded to the call of a distressed woman on Friday evening around 7:30 p.m. on County Road 425, as the victim told them she had been knocked out and dragged several hundred feet during her shift at a nearby kennel. The victim woke up with her hands bound by duct tape. However, she was not sexually assaulted, nor was anything stolen. The woman was taken to Baptist Memorial Hospital in North Mississippi, but released quickly afterwards with only minor injuries. There have been no arrests made as of this morning, and a motive has not yet been determined as the Lafayette County Sheriff's Department is conducting the investigation. The 15th ranked Auburn Tigers came into town this weekend. Colin Rivera is in studio to break down this past weekend's matchup. Colin.
Thanks, Abby. It was yet another stressful weekend for the Rebel fans as the Auburn Tigers came roaring into town, winning 4 straight. Let's roll with the highlights. And Evan Ingram is going to start off here as Chad Kelly's warming up. He felt the tempo early as he throws it here to Ingram, and he gets it in for the early score, but Wunderlich's kick would be blocked, so they're only up 6-0. Petway would respond by pounding it through, and the Ole Miss Rebel defense could really not shut him down all night, and as he rolls in here, they are now up 7-6. But the Rebel offense would respond with DeMarcus Lodge leaping up and grabbing it, and now they would be up 13-7. In the second quarter, Johnson would run it in here as it's only a 1-yard run, but damage is done as now it is a field goal battle between both kickers here in the second quarter as Auburn would also score and Ole Miss would score. Sean White would later in the second half score a touchdown here to start it off. And just like that, Auburn is cruising, and Chad Kelly would also try to respond here as he would with Stringfellow. And really it was an offensive battle between both SEC teams as once again field goals were a big part in play for this game. And Chad Kelly would look here, but it would be intercepted, and Halsey would take it almost to the house, but Chad Kelly would make a critical key tackle here at the very end right there along the sideline. And here we go once again. Johnson would run it in for the touchdown, and Auburn would win 40-29. Now, it was another tough loss for the Rebels. Here's what head coach Hugh Freeze had to say after the game.
I think it's, it's kind of been indicative of our season. The way our kids fought tonight, I was very proud. I think we were playing a team that's playing as well as anyone in the country right now, particularly defensively coming into this game and running the ball extremely well. And, we battled them toe-to-toe for most of the game, but like I've said, for whatever reason in this game, you have years where the margin of error for a team is just so small, and one or two plays make such a huge impact. And think about the 3rd and 5, and Chad puts us in field goal range in the holding call, and then thought we had a touchdown there down when we were down 33-29, and and we didn't connect, didn't make that play, and the next play you throw an interception that flips the field and gives them the 2-score lead.
The Rebels are now sitting last in the SEC West and are riding a 4-game losing streak. The bright side of Saturday's loss was that Chad Kelly broke the single-game record for passing yards at 465 yards, previously held by Archie Manning with 439. The Ole Miss offense was also very successful against Auburn by putting up 570 total yards. They even kept the turnovers to a minimum, as Chad Kelly only threw 1 interception. It's now that time of year, though, when the Rebels cannot afford any more losses if they want to have any hopes of making a bowl game. I have mini sports later on in the show. Ruben and Abby, back to you.
A Florida man received public outrage for his Halloween display of 2 dummies hanging from a tree.
And NewsWatch has your election coverage up next, but first, Christine Williamson has your first look at your current conditions.
Good evening, Oxford. It's a very sunny 83 degrees for our Halloween day, but what can we expect for November 1st? Tune in for my 5-day forecast and find out.
The original investigation of Hillary Clinton's private email server was concluded in July, but a vague letter that was released on Friday to congressional leaders announced the discovery of more emails pertinent to the Clinton investigation. Republican candidate Donald Trump had this to say.
Hillary has nobody but herself to blame for her mounting legal problems. Uma. They just found a lot of them. We never thought we were going to say thank you to Anthony Weiner.
The FBI is investigating some 650,000 emails found on the computer of disgraced former Congressman Anthony Weiner, as they believe the messages may be relevant to the Clinton investigation. Clinton's campaign has responded to the review offensively as they work with the FBI on Friday to release information regarding the investigation of the newly secured documents.
Hillary Clinton spoke at a gay bar in South Florida Sunday evening. The bar sits 3 hours away from the Orlando gay nightclub Pulse, where 49 people were killed in June. Clinton's speech covered her plans to end mass shootings, address LGBT homelessness, gun violence, and the spread of HIV. Clinton also spoke about the relationship Donald Trump has with the LGBT community.
Donald Trump has a terrible record on LGBT rights. And this election will determine whether we continue the progress we've made or let it be ripped away. We know Trump has promised he'll appoint Supreme Court justices who will overturn marriage equality.
Clinton is currently leading Trump in Florida by 6 of a point, according to 538.com. This is just one of the many stops for Clinton in South Florida.
One Florida man is under scrutiny as his Halloween decorations resembled lynching. The community has expressed outrage as the unidentified West Florida man hung 2 dummies from the tree in his front yard. The man later insisted were not racist. Political issues also arose as a Trump-Pence yard sign was displayed just a few feet from the dummies, but the man told a Miami paper that the dummies were simply meant to be scary for Halloween and there was nothing political about it. One unnamed caller has claimed ownership of the campaign sign and threatened lawsuit on the claim that the whole picture and whole thing are untrue. If you're going out trick-or-treating, what kind of weather can you expect?
Christine Williamson has your Halloween forecast and weekly forecast up next on Stormwatch.
Good evening, Oxford. It is so warm this Halloween at 83 degrees. I don't know that I've ever seen a Halloween this warm before. It feels like summer almost. It's going to be sunny outside right now. We can see a little bit of warmer temperatures, but hopefully it's going to cool off as you head out to parties or go trick-or-treating tonight. Taking a look at our radar, we don't really have any rain in the area, and we're not going to see any until late next week. In North Mississippi, there really isn't much of a cloud in the sky, and so you can expect warm temperatures for the rest of the week. The rest of North Mississippi is definitely experiencing all these warm temperatures. South Haven at 86, Holly Springs also at 86, Corinth and Oxford at 83 degrees, and Tupelo being very much the hottest at 88 degrees. Taking a look at tomorrow's temperatures, it's still going to stay very, very warm to kick off November. South Haven staying at 86, Holly Springs at 85, Corinth also at 86, Oxford staying cooler at 84 degrees, and Tupelo at 87. I also know that I've ever seen a November start off this hot before. Now, thankfully, tonight it will cool off a little bit, so grab a jacket as you head out for 56-degree weather. We'll still have clear skies. There's not going to be a lot of wind and no chance of rain until later in the week. Now, taking a look at tomorrow's temperatures, it'll be 84 degrees, clear and sunny, a little bit of a breeze, still no chance of rain. We're not going to see that till about Thursday. Now, taking a look at our 5-day forecast, we're still going to have some very warm temperatures kicking off this November month. We'll see the high 80s, very high 70s, and hopefully it'll cool off as we head into the beginning of next week. We'll see a few showers on Thursdays towards the afternoon, but other than that, there's really no break from all this hot weather.
Christine, it looks like we may have to cover up our costumes today.
Just a little bit. I'm hoping that it'll cool down a lot, and maybe we'll luck out and my forecast will be wrong, and then we'll get some cooler temperatures. I really hope I'm wrong.
Well, I'm excited for the costumes, and for those of you who have World Series inspired costumes, you may like what we have when we come back as we take a look ahead to Game 6 of the World Series between the Cleveland Indians and the Chicago Cubs.
Also, Ole Miss basketball got into the Halloween spirit with the dunk or treat coming up next on Sports Watch.
Something strange in your neighborhood. Who you gonna call? Ghostbusters!
With Halloween and basketball season upon us, the Ole Miss Athletics Department gave fans a special treat this past weekend. James Lott has a story on the first ever dunk or treat event.
The pavilion might have been empty on Friday afternoon, but at night it was crawling with ghouls, goblins, and creatures alike. The Ole Miss Athletics Department held its first ever Dunk or Treat event. Not only was there free candy, but there were games and other things to entertain everyone of all ages.
It was a really fun event. I think most people had fun. I saw a lot of kids here, a lot of pictures with our players, which is what our goal was. Obviously these fans see our guys and our women's basketball team on the court. They don't get a lot of chance to see them in the community or much around interacting with kids. So that was kind of the goal too.
Fans lined up more than an hour before the event to get autographs from the men's and women's basketball teams. Coaches and players feel like the event is a good way to get a more personal experience with the fan base.
It's a pretty good experience. I got to talk to a whole bunch of people, a whole lot more people, and just get to know your fans and, know how they feeling, and sometimes they be knowing your name, and it's just amazing. So I got a pretty good experience out of this.
Face painting, competitive events, and a haunted house were among the few things that Dunk or Treat was able to offer compared to Square Jam. But will the event make a return for next year?
the way that homecoming lined up with our football schedule and the way that with our season opening early November, it just didn't align, so we couldn't do it. So, we're not real sure where we're going next year with it. We thought this was really fun and a good event, so we may be back here, we may not.
With the first annual Dunk or Treat event a success, the Rebel men's and women's basketball teams are ready to kick off their seasons next week. For NewsWatch Ole Miss, I'm James Lott.
The Cubs remain alive after winning Game 5 3-2. It was the first World Series win at Wrigley since 1945. While the Indians still maintain a 3-2 series lead, there could be a bit of concern for the ones who believe in superstitions. The last time there were 2 ties in the NFL season, the Indians blew a 3-1 series lead and ultimately lost Game 7 to the Florida Marlins. Now the Cubs will have a big bat coming back into their lineup as Kyle Schwarber will be back in the lineup at DH for Game 6. The Indians will have home field advantage for the rest of the series, and the Cavaliers took notice as they moved the game to 5 p.m. Central Time to accommodate for Game 6. First pitch will be tomorrow at 6 p.m. Central. That's all I have for sports. Be sure to follow NewsWatch on Twitter at @NewsWatch_UM to stay up all things Ole Miss. Abby, Ruben, back to you.
Thanks, Colin. A group of window washers put on their superhero outfits to offer some laughter and surprises to sick children and their families.
Find out more about this sweet treat when we come back.
This is Halloween, this is Halloween. Pumpkins scream in the dead of night. This is Halloween, everybody make a scene. Trick or treat, tell the neighbors gonna die of rain. It's our town, everybody scream.
A trio of window washers embraced their inner superhero and scaled the walls of the Hasbro Children's Hospital in Providence, Rhode Island.
This was a sweet surprise to many young sick patients and their families. Spider-Man, Batman, and Captain America performed courtesy of a local cleaning business.
Aww. Well, that's all for our show tonight. If you missed part of the show, you can watch on NewsWatchOleMiss.com. I'm Abby Cummings.
And I'm Ruben Johnson. Be sure to catch us here again tomorrow at 5. NewsWatch hopes you all have a spooky Halloween.
Late one night, when my eyes beheld an eerie sight, for my monster from his slab began to rise, and suddenly, to my surprise, he did the mash. He did the monster mash.